Hello, everybody. I thought I'd pop on here on a Saturday morning and say hello. We're going to be talking about trademarks in just a moment on digital products. Just checking that we're good. Okay, awesome. So I'm Melinda from Spreadsheetables, and we like to teach how to use Google Sheets and how to monetize them here. And because some of us are monetizing our Google Sheets, I wanted to talk to you about trademarks and how that we need to be aware of those when we're creating digital products for sale. So first off, legal disclaimer, we are not lawyers or experts in trademark. If you have any questions or concerns, you need to consult with a lawyer or a trademark lawyer to get all the accurate details. This live that I'm doing is just to raise awareness so that you go into your digital products being aware that you need to do some research or you need to consult with a professional. Because there are some things that are trademarked that people would be very surprised to learn about. So we want to cover that here today. So we're going to talk about why it's important to know about these trademarks, how to check for trademarks yourself, and we're going to go through some examples that we find on Etsy. You're going to find examples all over the internet. And just because you see those examples doesn't mean that it's right. So we wanted to just show you those. And then we created a little database for our community here that if you find something that you believe is trademarked, you can add it to the list and then see the list for yourself, just to kind of, again, raise awareness that they might be protected and that you shouldn't be using them on your digital products. So first up, why do we need to be aware of them? And that's a pretty simple answer of you could run into a lot of trouble. So you could be sued by usually massive companies that have lots of money and can easily go after you. And the other reason being is that you can have your shop shut down, especially if you're on a different platform that you don't own. So if you're on Etsy or one of those other seller platforms, you could be shut down and cut off permanently from opening a shop. So those are some things to be aware of. Lately in the Etsy communities, it's come up that there is some big companies going after people. So that's why we're doing this live, to make sure that you guys are aware of it and that you're watching your listings because it can be costly. There's people that are having to pay, and there is people that are having their shops shut down. So it's very important. I know it's not the most exciting subject, but it's something that is very important if you sell digital products. Next up, and if you haven't seen, we did another video on Canva and Google logos and whether or not you can use those on your listings. That's an important one. Canva is a no-go for using their logo and their brand colors, where Google was a little bit more open to using, the Google Sheets logo on your listings and things. So you'll definitely want to check out that video. We did that earlier on. And it's also in the membership for those that are part of the membership. Okay, so we've covered why it's important. You don't want to be paying money. You don't want your shop shut down. How to check for trademarks. So pretty well every country has maybe a database that you can check. So definitely the United States and Canada, where you can check those databases. Right now, the screen that you're seeing is the United States Patent and Trademark Office, so uspto.gov. And when you're in there, you can go and search for things. And the trick is when you're, often when you're selling digital products, your product is available worldwide, or sometimes you can limit it to certain countries. So just because we're checking the United States database doesn't mean it's not trademarked in, Canada or Japan or some other countries. So that's why we've got all these disclaimers that just because you don't find it in the United States database doesn't mean it's not trademarked somewhere else. So you need to be aware of that. So this is the trademark electronic search system for the United States. And I'm just going to do a quick example of how you can search for something. So I'm going to type in Jeep and I'm going to submit query. And so it's going to come up with everything that might be related with Jeep. And you can see this number 11 here specifically says Jeep alone. There's different variations like Jeep Hub, Jeep Church. Some of them have off-road, so people relate off-road with Jeep. So there's some spin-offs there. And you can see whether the trademark is live or dead in this column here. I'd be careful again, if something looks dead, doesn't mean it's been submitted in a different way. So just be careful with that. So I can click on Jeep here and it's going to show that it's live and that it's under Fiat Chrysler, that it's been registered, or the owner of that trademark. So that's just a quick example. There's lots of different databases that you can search for this. The next thing we wanted to do is talk about examples that you could find on Etsy. Now I'm searching on Etsy. We could search on Google. It's just if you have products, if people have products on a WordPress site through WooCommerce, that might be a little bit different. I think Etsy is being targeted specifically because Etsy has to have policies in place to make sure this doesn't happen again, so that they're shutting shops down and things. So I'm going to use Etsy as an example, but definitely you can Google things, and just because you're seeing things listed doesn't make it right. So Disney is a huge one. I've typed that in, and you can see people using, so not only is like Disney being viewed on the shirt, then they're using Disney in the title and the descriptions. So that kind of stuff is a no-go, because these big companies are viewing you as profiting off of their brand that they have built up. So there's a ton of Disney stuff. Again, just because you see this doesn't make it right. See, like Winnie the Pooh is trademarked. So you shouldn't be creating things around those. You want to avoid those topics. All of this, you know, the Disney castle and the ears and everything else. This is a different example. I had typed in Jeep. So I noticed people were a little bit more, I shouldn't call it savvy. They were trying to avoid the word Jeep. So they're calling it American Off-Road Sweatshirt and having the vehicle printed on there. See, this one like blatantly says Jeep Canada. So you want to avoid that. See, again, American Off-Road Sweatshirt. So these people are avoiding the use of Jeep. So they're probably more aware of the trademarks and things. This one has been a hot item. So smiley face is actually protected. And I should have pulled up the trademark for this one. They have hundreds of smiley faces that are trademarked. So I would stay away from these. There's tons of listings online and they're going after people actively. So you want to be aware of that. They don't just have smiley faces. They have multiple versions, almost like all like the emojis being used. So be aware of that. Again, you can't be using like smiley face in the listing, in the description, in the tags, and on the images as well. This is another one that people don't realize is trademarked. From my understanding, again, we're not professionals, so seek legal advice. but bullet journal is something that what I'm aware of has been trademarked. So again, going through here, it looks like people are being a little bit more savvy about this and not using it as much as like the Disney keywords. So instead of, see, this one's called bullet journal, but you'll notice some people are trying to dodge it by using like 2 T's for bullet journal. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to say if this is okay or not. I'm just showing you what people are doing. I have heard people calling them a dot grid or a dot journal. You would have to check if those terms are trademarked as well. See, this one's a weekly bullet style journal. So they've put in another word there to avoid using bullet journal. So not sure if that's right or not. I'm just showing you these examples. Here's an undated dot grid planner. So that's a way of avoiding using those trademarks names. Okay, so that was just showing you what you can find on Etsy and what you should maybe avoid. We have created this Trademark Awareness database, and you can, if you find something, you can submit it here. There is a link to view the database in a Google Sheet, of course. So in here, you could enter the trademark. So if it was smiley face, you would type in smiley face, put in the link that you found it in the database, put the company name if you know it, and if you're aware of possible alternative words that people could be using. And then this, so when you fill this out and submit it, it goes into this database here. Oops. So you'll see some that we've added here: Kleenex, Disney. Some people don't know that onesie is trademarked. Band-Aid, Post-it, Elf on a Shelf. That's another popular one that I wonder if people are using that on Etsy. Let's just find out. Elf on a Shelf. Okay, so I'm not seeing a lot of people using Elf on a Shelf, which is great. They're using the word elf, but not Elf on the Shelf. So people are avoiding that, which is good. It's trademarked, so you shouldn't be using it. Okay, so we will give you guys access to the Trademark Awareness database. If you ever find anything, you can enter it here, and then you can click on this link to view the database. I hope that helps you guys. Let us know if you have any questions, and happy creating your digital products.